musici, let's continue the reading of this article about the Chinese Guidonian hand, and we have a lot of interesting things to read today here in this second part, and I have something special here. I show you at the end, so stay tuned. Now, okay, let's do this. Now, Chinese hand reckoning and palm diagrams. In the context of European iconography, a Guidonian hand emerging from swirling clouds and adorned with long and manicured fingernails may appear striking, but such elements are common among Semitic palm diagrams. Okay. The historian of the medicine Martha Hanson explained that such a cloud vapor pedestal serves to convey the concept of qi, the animating life force of or vital energy that structures Chinese philosophy and medicine. Then there is a link, I suppose, here discussing the manuscript. Okay, a commonplace book that includes Lulu Zuayo Lester, who knows that the exquisite fingernails and mystifying clouds frequently appear in manuals for the Chinese zither, I hope, guhin. I don't know if it's correct. I would add that these iconographic features also appear frequently in Semitic treatises of mathematics and astronomy, medicine, rhyme books, and divination manuals. So with divinations we even have what's the name? Sibyl Trelawney divination manual. The Guidonian hand in Lulu Zuniao would have been one among the many hand mnemonics and palm diagrams familiar to the Semitic literati. I don't know what does it mean. Literati. Okay. But you know, as I told in the previous video, using hands was something very common in this period because with hands they used to count things, so that's why we count with 12. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 11. Yeah, wait. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. 1 2 3 when you have to move things. Okay, so figure number 9. Let's see this figure, which seems interesting. Figure number 9. The cycle of the 12 earthly branches. Okay. Palm positioning diagram from Chen Mengler. Okay. Okay, mathematical science. So this one. Okay, I don't know. Figure number 10. Center mnemonic of the 12 earthly branches. Okay. Branches that govern heaven in Liu Wenshu. Okay. Illustration reproduced blah blah blah. Okay. Figure 11, right, these things which I cannot pronounce it. Finger and palm charts to the. Okay. Okay. Now, using this arrangement of notes as shown in the illustration of the figures, so the drawing, okay, thank you for specifying that the illustration is a drawing, one can reckon with the loci of the fingers, exactly the loci, the positions of the notes, of the syllables, to memorize the score and verify the music as to which note from whence it begins, which note takes over and which note concludes. Yes, exactly. Fuck the screen. The finger reckoning technique Qiazuan, whence the phrase Qiazi Yuzan, to reckon with one's finger, is a decidedly one-handed affair. See, for example, this fortune teller on the street of Shanghai, okay, or the sequence from the Hong Kong comedy movie My Lucky Star, which features two Feng Shui masters played by, okay, in a zany display of mental calculation. At the end of the scene, reckoning serves as a mere gesture signifying cogitations. Yes. Actually, this is very Italian. I don't think that this is a Chinese thing. This is an Italian thing, as you can see. Or better, maybe Italian should be a little more this way. Then, if Pereira's looping hand serves as a case study of European knowledge important to China, there exists conversely similarly one-handed musical mnemonic exported from China to Europe, likewise facilitated by the Jesuit global network. So where there is something strange, there are always Jesuits, even today. The hand diagram in the music treatise superimposes the 12 Chinese musical pitches or upon the traditional counting framework of the 12 earthly branches. Zhu's Chinese musical hand would later reach European readers through Jean-Joseph-Marie Miot's Mémoire sur la musique des Chinoises, in an imitative rendering closely replicating the visual elements of the original. Zhu's sleeve curvature of the fingers as well as the exquisite fingernails. Amoit, I think it's a French one. A Jesuit who resided in Beijing from 1751 until his death, some 4 decades later, remarks in his memoir that this way of counting is very easy for a Chinese person because he is accustomed from childhood to count on his fingers in this way the years of the cycle, and to see the interval between one epoch to another one. Okay, Mémoire sur les Chanois. Okay, second partie. Okay, 12. I guess that these are the months, something like that, and the 7 days of the week. I guess. First mode, second mode. Fa, ut, sol, re, la, mi, si. So, fa. Okay, which is moving in the other sense. So from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So, which is main harmonique sur laquelle on trouve la circulation du son fondamental par chacun des 12 loups. Okay. I think that this is a kind of French translation of the original Chinese thing. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of things in common between China and French. Indeed, for the writer of Lulu Zhuangyan, the ubiquity of Qiazuan reckoning a common technique once taught to children has Amois observed, succinctly captured and arguably subsumed the European practice of tracking pitches upon the hand as another Chinese reckoning. The cultural technique of the Western Guidonian hand in Lulu Zhunyao thus became one among the many East Asian traditions of palm diagrams and hand mnemonics. And that should be the last paragraph, exactly. And hand as an instrument of music theory, that's very important. All too often, Alexander Redding remarks, the instrument that music theory handles are overlooked. They seem somehow neutral. If an instrument of music theory like the keyboard and the monochord is often regarded uncritically as a transparent device, then the hand likewise assumes a mantle of neutrality and transparency. Indeed, all the mental switches and toggles of the Guidonian hand remain hidden in the mind. It has neither physical strings to pluck nor keys to play, but conceptualized as an epistemic tool, the hand becomes a musical instrument that musical theory handles. To draw on Redding's turn of phrase, the historian of medicine Kuriyama, okay, remarks that the true structure and workings of the human body are, we casually assume everywhere the same, a universal reality. But then we look into history and our sense of reality wavers. Hands, likewise, in their particular milieu, are not neutral or universal in either their topographies or their cultural specificities, located at the intersection between artificially flattened diagrams. Transcultural practice of one-handed reckoning, a clear visual method of eclipsing voices, and a mnemonic that draws upon self-reinforcing haptic memory and reflexive tactility, self-touch. I suggest the musical hand is not merely an interfacing appendage, but an instrument in its own right. Okay. I'm grateful, blah 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 blah. Okay. So, yes, interesting things to know, but I thought that this article would be something more practical than this, okay? Because at the end, it's not clear to me exactly as the Chinese version works, if it's the same or something different. I don't know. By the way, now let's arrive to the very interesting section. This book. This is a very interesting book in German. I mean, it's not in Italian, it's not in French, it's written in German. Die Geschichte im Bilder. The reason why I have this book is because this volume, number something, band 3, okay, is because there are a lot of pictures. So, actually, this is a history of the music through images. And there is a section here where there are a lot of pictures of hands from different sources. It's only black and white, and it's a shame, but you know, it's very interesting. And among all these hands, they start here. There is one hand, I remember, the only one, which is the right hand instead of the left one. Let's see if we can find it. So, this is okay. Left hand, left. Here it is, because the left and right, this is the right hand. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E, it's outside. So actually, is as in a mirror, probably, I don't know. The man who wrote this is a left-handed person. This way. Left and left, the one we know in Biblioteca Ambrosiana, now in Milano. All left hands, okay, and then there are other pictures. Okay, by the way, I'm happy to have been reading this article, even if what can I say? It's too much academic. There are no practical application of what's written. You say, so this is my impression, okay, and then. By the way, okay, there's now we know that Jesuits are always among strange things. Let's see before leaving, because I'm really curious if there are some Jesuit jokes even in English, because in Italian they're very common. So Jesuit jokes. Yes, more Jesuit jokes. Okay, they're very funny. They are very funny. Okay, let's read. Let's read these jokes now. A vision. A Jesuit, a Dominican, and a Franciscan were walking along an old road depicting the greatness of their orders. Suddenly, an apparition of the Holy Family appeared in front of them, with Jesus in a manger and Mary and Joseph praying over him. The Franciscan fell on his face, overcome with awe at the sight of God born in such poverty. The Dominican fell to his knees, adoring the beautiful reflection of the Trinity and the Holy Family. The Jesuit walked up to Joseph, put his arm around his shoulder, and said, "So, have you thought about where to send him to school?" Okay. Haircut. Ah, yeah. I think that I know this one. Yes. There is even an Italian translation of this one. A Franciscan. I don't know how to say in English. We say Franciscan. A Franciscan gets a haircut and then asks how much he owes. The barber says he never charges clergy. The Franciscan thanks the barber and goes home. The next morning, the barber finds a big basket of fresh bread from the Franciscan's kitchen. In the Italian version, there's not a big basket of fresh bread, but there was a cross. Yes, a cross. An Augustinian, but in Italian version there were a Dominican. An Augustinian gets his hair cut by the same barber. The barber also tells him that he never charges clergy. The next day, the barber receives a nice bottle of wine from the Augustinian's wine cellar. In the Italian version, we have the Dominican, and instead of the bottle of wine, there is a rosary. A Jesuit gets his haircut, and the barber again says that he never charges clergy. The next day, when the barber opens his shop, there are 12 other Jesuits already waiting for him. Now, the right question, let's see. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, too many. Only this one. Power failure. A Franciscan, a Dominican, and a Jesuit were sitting in a room when the lights went out. The Franciscan said, "My brothers, let us take this opportunity to consider the debt we owe to our sister, the light." The Dominican said, "Yes, but let us also take this opportunity to contemplate the difference between light and dark." Meanwhile, the Jesuit went to the basement, found the fuse box, and reset the breaker. Yeah, the pragmatic and not spiritual vision of Jesuits. Sharing. A Jesuit and Franciscan sat down to dinner, after which pie was served. There were 2 pieces of pie, one smaller and the other large. The Jesuit reached over and took the larger piece from himself. The Franciscan remonstrated. "St. Francis always taught us to take the meaner piece." The Jesuit replied, "And so you have it." Yes. Wait, who's the greatest? A Franciscan and a Dominican were debating whose order was the greater. After months of arguing, they decided to ask God for an answer when they died. Years later, they met in heaven and went to God's throne to resolve their old disagreement. God seemed a bit puzzled about the question and told them he would reply in writing a few days later. After much deliberation, God sent the following letter. "My son, please stop bickering about such trivial matters. Both orders are equally great and good in my eyes. Sincerely, God, S.J." S.J. is the C. Yeah, this is something, if you don't know, you won't understand. S.J. it means in Italian is compagnia Jesus. So in Latin, SJ or SEJ, because in Latin you can use this, or even in medieval Latin the J. Societas Jesu, but it's funny because God says, okay, both of the two orders are the same, okay? There are no, so they are equally great and good in my eyes, but then God is sinning with the typical sin of Jesuit, Societas Jesu. So that's why. By the way, okay, besides jokes, if this video won't be public, join Patreon, because you can find a lot of things every day to learn about early music and sometimes even jokes. Otherwise, see you here for another occasion.
Fa, re, fa, mi, fa, la, fa. Wait, what's going on? What are all these strange notes? Look at this. This is how they read notes during the Renaissance and the Baroque period. This is a book of the beginning of the 17th century. Now, tell me, how can you understand and play Renaissance and Baroque music correctly if your way of reading is completely different from what they used? Even worse, how can you compose new music in a stylistically accurate way if you start from a mindset which is diametrically opposed to what all ancient musicians used? Well, you can't. They are two different languages. Imagine instead the freedom of reading correctly every note. Imagine the confidence to know that that passage you wrote works because stylistically correct to the ancient way of thinking music. Think how wonderful it would be to notice all those details and nuances that other musicians miss, simply because they don't know hexachordal solmization. Hexachordal solmization is the system used by musicians of the Renaissance and Baroque periods to read music. It is a system built on a great scale of 20 letters and a hexachord of 6 syllables: ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. If you love Renaissance and Baroque music, you should know more about that. For this reason, I've prepared for you an ebook where you can discover some details that you can only notice if you know solmization. Get this special gift now. Go to this link, scroll down the page up to the middle and download the free ebook.